am I feeling? My response was, this is the best part of getting ready for a competition right now. And that's because your food is not super strict yet. Even when you're doing this, what I call the healthy way, where you eat a lot of food and your calories are not actually that low, it doesn't mean it's always fun. I prefer to keep my calories as high as I can, and I like to eat a huge volume of food. So when my food gets strict or tight, as we call it, I start choosing food that gives me the most volume for the lowest calories. So I want to be able to eat lots of food because it makes me feel full, and then my satiety levels stay really high. So as long as my satiety levels stay high, I don't have cravings, I still have energy to lift, and it means that it also doesn't affect my strength training. I can keep going up in weight throughout my whole entire contest prep period. So my approach to when things like off meals and non-compliant meals is I probably would get away with still doing it, like having a one off meal a week where it's non-compliant. What I find is if you just work with what you think you can get away with, then you are still adding variables and you don't know what result you would have got if you just stuck to the plan. When you're eating something that you like, it's often processed and it's either salty, fatty or sugary, and that food can cause you to retain water, so give you that kind of fluidy look. So that's why I'm just deleting all that stuff now. The other part of this too is one of the reasons why I like keeping my calories quite high is because when your satiety is high, you don't actually start craving that non-compliant meal. Your taste buds actually start to change, and then you start craving the food that you are eating. So I'm talking about vegetables start to taste better, and you can actually get more satiety from your staple foods. But if you're having that one meal a week, which is like a calorie bomb, where it's salty, sugary, highly palatable, then what happens is I think it actually reverses all the good work that you've done in terms of your taste buds and your cravings, and you start to crave the non-compliant meal, and then your staple meals don't actually taste as good. So one of the reasons why I take those non-compliant meals out is because I want to be able to stop craving them, and I want to start enjoying my current food more. So I just think if your calories are that little bit low and you are at a point where you need to increase them and have like refeeds and stuff like that, I think what it can do for you in terms of your mindset and the habits that are developed around it is you actually start to look forward to that, and it can create a negative cycle which is hard to break after competition. So I'm always looking at what's going to get me the best result for the competition, but longevity afterwards. I want to get better with every competition. So I just need to think about what can I do leading into the show that's going to give me the least rebound afterwards, because then I'll not only stay physically healthy, but I'll be able to retain most of what I've built, and then I can get better from one show to the next. So what I'm doing now, I'm kind of benefiting not just from what I'm doing now, but what I've also done for all my previous contest preps over the years as well. I like to keep my calories high, so there's no refeeds for me, there's no non-compliant meals, there's no cheat meals or free meals or whatever you call it. I want to have my calorie deficit, as they call it, that gap between what I consume and what I expend, as small as possible. And in order to do that, it means tracking everything that I eat, taking photos, looking at my photos, checking to see if I'm still getting results. If I am, then what I'm doing is working, and if not, it means I've hit a plateau and I need to make another change. So the next change will be something to do with the food, and it might be swapping one food for another so that my calories have gone down, but I'm actually eating the same amount of food or more. So often as my calories go down, the amount of food or the volume of food that I eat actually goes up, and that's because I'm swapping and making better choices. So it is important to be aware of how many calories you're having. That's why I've been tracking my food. For example, I'm just about to make chicken wraps for dinner tonight. This meal is 1,000 calories on its own. So I know that this is going to have to come out soon as well. So this meal, one meal out of 6 per day, this one meal is 1,000 calories. So that probably gives you a good idea. If one meal is 1,000 calories, I'm eating more than 3,000 calories a day at the moment. Also, now that I've taken out all the non-compliant meals, and I'm talking about salty, fatty, sugary foods like, you know, the Saturday night, oh my goodness meal, now that that's gone, fluid retention will start to go. So the that watery kind of look will start to go. Still taking creatine, so it won't go completely. But then it's actually going to be easier to see what kind of body I'm going to have on stage, because I've removed the things that are making me look a little bit fluidy too. So yes, I'm removing the cravings, I'm keeping my satiety high, which is going to help things move in the right direction. But also when I do my progress photos, I've got a much better idea of how I'm going to look on stage, because the fluid retention is going to start to go as well. So yes, my scale weight will go down, but it won't necessarily be fat loss. It will also be water loss, because I'm not bloated or watery anymore from those non-compliant meals. That's my take on it. Keep calories as high as you can. And in order to do that, it does take a bit more work, because you need trial and error to figure out what your calorie deficit really is. There's no calculator that's going to tell you the real number. You actually just have to track what you're doing, take photos, and have a look and see if you're losing body fat or not. That's how you know if you're in a deficit. So I'm going to keep doing that. So because I've done that for years, I know what works for my body and how much food I can eat and still lose weight. But for me, it's never about what I can get away with. It's about what I can do to get the best result, and removing variables so that I know what actually got me that result as well. So I know what to repeat and what to take out and what to swap and what to change.
Light me up, don't you stop, 'cause tonight it's on the line. Show me how you get on down, close my eyes, take me for